I am going to explain the entire history over the 500 years, which includes Lemiel, as he is the reason everything has happened in the first place. This is because Lemiel, the first Wizard King, had created a special sword. It was the most powerful weapon in the Clover Kingdom and was passed down the line of Wizard Kings. Remember that the first Wizard King was someone that was fascinated by magic. In his backstory, we were told he loved to research magic and create tools that would help the kingdom and those less fortunate to deal with the prejudice the kingdom till this day suffers from. However, the other royals hated him for his gracious ways, and he paid no heed to their cruelty to others, even accepting Secret Swallowtail as his assistant when royals deemed her useless due to her magic type. Together, they created the most powerful magic tool called the Imperial Sword Elsdolcia. Its original purpose follows Lemiel's theme of wanting to make the world a better place, just as he attempted to with Licht. The weapon lends the previous Wizard King's power for the next generation. It's capable of absorbing, storing, and releasing magic power. It is stated that this sword has the potential to destroy an entire country and contains a piece of the past Wizard King's souls within it. In the movie, we learn it's the kingdom's most prized possession. However, Conrad gets his hands on it, and this is where his story begins. Essentially, Conrad was born into a noble family, but due to his unique magic of keys, it was perceived as a thief-like magic type, as it can steal others' magic, resulting in him being shunned by those around him, eventually snowballing into a lonely childhood. This is why in the movie, he has multiple parallels with Asta and tells him they are similar. However, as he grew older, Conrad discovered the true value of key magic. Suddenly, everyone in the kingdom discovered his clout, and they began to fear his power, resulting in the gap between him and those surrounding him growing even wider, as they never came to an understanding. Eventually, Conrad joined the Magic Knights, where he met a young Julius and a caring young woman from the Forsaken Realm. Her name was Lemiel, who eventually became his wife. I don't blame him, look at her. So, remember, Julius was someone that is fascinated by unique types of magic. Case in point, Yami Sukihiro. However, he even scours for unique magic as an old woman, as that's how he first took notice of Asta. Julius's entire dream is to create a new generation of magic knights that follows his ideals of changing society for the better by removing prejudice. Therefore, Conrad learned to trust these two, where he began to open up to those around him. Julius told Asta and Yuno that becoming Wizard King means convincing the people and earning merit. Basically, you have to have a bit of clout, and then the dick riders come along, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, oh, my man has clout. But anyway, this is exactly what Conrad had done by gaining achievements together with his companions, and eventually became the Magic Knight captain of the squad named the White Serpents. His achievements were soon recognized by the public, thus being crowned as the 27th Wizard King. Everything was going great. He even married his vice captain Lemiel. However, one day, a mission he received for his squad was a trap set up by royals who despised him. As a result of this devastating event, his wife dying, all his friends perishing, and learning that he lived a lie helping a kingdom that was corrupt, he decided to take matters into his own hands, as all his feelings from childhood had returned, evolving into pure anger. Julius made attempts to persuade him, but that only elevated Conrad's darkness. Therefore, to eradicate discrimination, prejudice, and build a country where everyone can laugh together, which by the way is also Asta's dream once he becomes Wizard King, Conrad aimed to achieve his ideals after being given the position. But it failed. His dreams were crushed as he was unable to bring about change due to the politicians, kings, and royals always being in in the way to stop the advancements of society. This is something we have seen throughout the story. After all, the royals are the ones that took Zagrad's deal and betrayed the elves. They have always hated anyone that tried to take over their control and power. However, Conrad decides that the only way to change this country is to truly rebuild it. The dangerous thoughts in his mind continued as he immersed himself in researching ancient magic tools. Eventually, he stole the national treasure, Imperial Sword, and started a rebellion, finally bringing us to the battle in the beginning of the movie. His plan was cut short as Julius and the other captains restrained Conrad. He initially no-diffed the captains and was extremely overpowered, but since time magic is busted and Lucius resides within Julius, Lucius was like, nah bruh, why my plan's gonna be executed, bitch? So time magic being OP, Julius had enough time to seal him away. However, following Julius's death to Patry, the spell that sealed him away had come undone, unleashing both him and the Imperial Sword back into the world. Knowing that he needed more manpower, he used his key magic along with the sword, which housed the past Wizard King's soul, where he used other people as sacrificial vessels to resurrect them. The three he chose were Wizard Kings and Queens who had their status stripped away, as they would understand his plight. Together, they planned to create a new world, but to do so, they first had to destroy the current one. Thus, they planned to use the power of the Imperial Sword to absorb all the magic from the people, as well as all the past Wizard Kings inside, unleashing it upon the planet, destroying it in the process. However, by storing the souls of the dead within the Imperial Sword, they shall cherry pick the ones worthy of living and resurrect them in the new world by using the bodies of the oppressed as sacrifices. Conrad explains that there are countless singular points where veins of mana connect, with the stadium being one of them. He reveals that 10 years prior, before the battle which saw him get sealed away, he altered the stadium and turned it into a weapon. The only way to stop Conrad was the use of a new magic tool being developed by Sakura and the science team that controls the power of the Imperial Sword. But before Asta could retrieve it, Conrad had already broken into the underground base with his key magic, and then he stole it for himself, thus destroying it. By analyzing and subsequently stealing Marx's memory magic, he now knew everything about everyone and quickly made light work of the Black Bulls present, including stealing Noel's magic. Meanwhile, every Magic Knight squad had been defeated, allowing Conrad and the former Wizard Kings to take complete control over the kingdom. Furthermore, all their power was being boosted by the Imperial Sword, making them limitless. Conrad then makes his way to Harge Village, where Lich's demon skull remains, as it is the perfect vein of mana to unleash complete annihilation upon the world. He invites Asta to become Wizard King in this new world. The two engage in a large battle, with Conrad absorbing many different types of magic, unlocking his rainbow Super Saiyan form. It looked freaking lit. Asta eventually uses his anti-magic on Conrad's grimoire, returning the stolen magic to everyone, whilst also removing the Imperial Sword from the vein of mana, stopping the Clover Kingdom's annihilation and returning the past Wizard King's souls. This doesn't stop Conrad though. He activates a forbidden spell in exchange for his own life, which summons a massive meteor from out of space to flatten the kingdom. Asta, however, being accepted by past Wizard Kings within the Imperial Sword, uses it to unlock a brand new transformation, as the entire cast of characters acknowledge that he is the only one capable of taking Conrad out with anti-magic. Plus, there's the fact that their phrase of never giving up is my magic completely matching, so their ideologies clash as well. Asta inspires every single knight to look up to him and promises to save the kingdom, in which Conrad eventually believes in Asta when he is defeated. Even earlier in the movie, he tried to recruit him due to his anti-magic, magic, believing it to be the one other magic type that can help his resolve to make the kingdom a better place. So after experiencing the big black sword for himself and losing to it, he acknowledges him. He realizes that Asta is the one person that can make his dream come true and save the world from the corrupt culture that has occurred for the past 500 years. He finally rests in peace as his soul joins the others. He tells Asta to become the Wizard King. This is also exactly what Julius Novachrono believes regarding Asta, bringing us to Conrad's successor, the 28th Wizard King, who is technically not from the Clover Kingdom. That's because his true identity is far more convoluted. Julius was born and raised in the Spade Kingdom as none other than the most gifted devil host in history of the Zogratis family. The reason for this was because he shared his body with Lucius, the fourth member of the Dark Triad. The pair wondered what made him so special. What was their purpose? After much thought, they turned their attention to none other than the Time Devil, one of the three supreme kings of hell, Asta. This gives them free reign over the flow of time itself, meaning they can rapidly age or de-age people. The same can be done to the effect of a spell or wound. Now, as you can imagine, you're also capable of completely freezing time in place within a designated area, but most importantly, the ability to look into the future of a plethora of alternative timelines. And so, they bound Asta and his power to themselves in an attempt to learn all the answers. However, what Lucius saw gave him inspiration. He believed he had witnessed the way to save the world and bring about true peace. But on the other hand, there was the problem of Julius attempting to stop him, and so Lucius buried Julius's soul away using his very own soul magic. Furthermore, he would maliciously manipulate his siblings into following his plan to recreate humanity by giving them all undying bodies. For his plan to take shape, however, he needed the King of Hell himself, Lucifero, in a weakened state. Thus, Lucius planned to use the Tree of Cliff-Off spell to let him loose into the world so that Asta could one day defeat him. To do this, however, he required two specific mages, one with World Tree magic and dark magic. And so, Lucius made his way to the Clover Kingdom by himself, as he'd seen the future and knew William and Yami would be here. Thus, he gave Julius control of his body as he calmly waited in the darkness for the right moment to enact his master plan. This is exactly what Andromeda confirmed according to what he stated in chapter 331. They wiped Julius's memory. Thus, he was integrated into a noble family with nowhere else to go. During his time in the Clover Kingdom, he began grinding to join Magic Knights and was accepted into the Grey Deer. Little did Julius know, however, everything he had been doing during his soul-searching mission in the Clover Kingdom was all to the benefit of his twin brother Lucius, who watched on from within Julius's body. Now, to enjoy more peak fiction, watch this video on your screen right now.